So with the NFL draft, of course, coming up soon, we have about 1 month until the draft actually happens. There have been lots of players meeting with lots of different teams, with the teams trying to, find out about these guys, see if they could be, a good overall fit for their teams, for their rosters. And one came out the other day that actually I didn't see until this morning. Shout out to Packers Wire. I saw they posted it this morning. But it initially came out a week ago from Doug Kyde saying here, Arkansas wide receiver Treylon Burks, a projected first-round pick, will be busy during the top 30 visit window. He has visits lined up to the Packers, Buccaneers, and Titans, among others, per source. So the Packers, I'm guessing by now they've met with Treylon Burks, and I just want to use this opportunity to talk about Treylon Burks because I think, of course, as I've said in the past few videos, the big topic of discussion right now for the Packers is, of course, the wide receivers, as I think it should be. And so when we look at a guy like Treylon Burks, I really like how he plays, and I think the fit he could be on this Packers team. And when you look at like Drake London and Treylon Burks, I feel like they're somewhat similar just in the fact that they're, big guys who can, jump up, catch big, 50-50 balls, do all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I like Treylon Burks better than Drake London, just like when you watch him a little bit, just because of Treylon Burks' ability, after the catch, his ability to, burn people after he has the ball in his hands. And I still think, Drake London can do a little bit of that. But watching Treylon Burks, there's some plays where you're just like, goodness gracious, when he has the ball in his hands, he's electric. So I found this one little excerpt from WalterFootball.com. They have lots of great draft coverage, and they had a cool little excerpt breaking down his play, which I thought was good. So I want to share that with you guys. So they say, what Burks can do as a possessional receiver really sets him apart. He's a dangerous wideout who, while not being a burner with rare speed, makes up for it with polish and physicality. Burks relies on good route running in his strong, reliable hands to do the dirty work and move the chains in the short to intermediate part of the field. Burks is very dangerous with the ball in his hands. He uses his well-built frame to break tackles and is very difficult for a lot of defensive backs to get to the ground. His strength to run through their hands makes it difficult for them to get a hold of him. While Burks isn't super elusive and is a more straight-line athlete, he does have the feet to dodge some tackles in the open field. Burks has excellent yards after the catch, potential for the next level, where he could be a great fit for a West Coast offense. And so when I think we look at all these different receivers, I think it's sort of interesting to see just how people rate them so differently. You look at one guy, they have Garrett Wilson number one. You look at, I was watching Chris Sims. He had a cool video breakdown on his top 5 receivers, and he didn't even have Garrett Wilson in the top 5. And he had, Treylon Burks at 4, Drake London at 5. And that was a great video. You should go check it out. And so I think it's interesting to see the differing opinions that people have on these receivers. But one thing that I keep seeing is it really seems like there's lots of talented wide receivers in this class. And there's lots of guys that I think could make sense on the Packers. So even though I may have a slight preference for certain guys, and I'll get more into that in some future videos and do some mock drafts as well as the draft does come up, I feel like the Packers are going to come away with a couple solid weapons in this draft just from looking at all the players that are here. And honestly, I would not be opposed to have a guy like Treylon Burks. And I think if we do get him, I think it's also important to find another guy who has that, burner speed, who can just go on go routes and just burn people like MVS. And, Treylon Burks definitely isn't that guy, I'd say. But to also, let's say, pick him, also get a guy like Christian Watson. I've been looking at him a lot, and he's pretty exciting. And so I'm going to get into more of those things in future videos. But interesting to see the Packers meeting with him. Who knows what's going to happen? There could be other teams, though, ahead of the Packers who, want to pick a guy like him. But who exactly knows? We've seen the differing opinions, the draft experts have. And you'd assume, the NFL front offices, have differing opinions as well. So who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be exciting when the draft does come, especially with the Packers having all of these picks. If you guys want to stay up to date with all things Packers news, updates, all things like that, feel free to subscribe to the channel down below. And if you haven't dropped a like on the video and you enjoyed it, feel free to like the video. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.